Welcome to Retail Talk, a show where I interview retail's movers and shakers about the interesting and amazing things they do in retail space. My name is Dimitri, and today with me, I have Patrick Armstrong, who is a serial entrepreneur and I believe the founder of Snaily. Patrick, do you want to tell me a little bit about Snaily and what you guys are about?
Sure. Thanks, Dimitri, for having me on. I'm Patrick Armstrong from Snaily, which is Canada's parcel locker company. We founded it in 2015 to address the market need for a fully Canadian solution, which was going to be cognizant of Canadian laws with respect to data privacy, hosting, and the unique geographic challenges that we have here for last mile. Language requirements, French and English, on-site customer support, which is difficult when you're running such a long country. And since then, we've moved into several verticals, including retail.
So Patrick, tell me about that, and tell me why. Tell me about how does a locker work, first of all, and why should a retailer consider that as one of their channels to reach the customer for the last mile delivery of the order?
Sure. So I'll start overview of a locker. It's a fully automated solution. It can sit as a standalone solution in your store, or it can be integrated through Open API back to the POS system if you wish. Basically, we take custody of an order and we dispense it. So once you've stuck it in our locker, we notify the consumer if we're not integrated. If we're integrated, it might go through your app, and the consumer can then come anytime they want, presuming they can get to the locker 24/7 and pick up their order. So that's how it works in a nutshell. If we looked at it specifically to retail, and what does that mean? It's the BOPIS application, which is buy online, pick up in store. And I think in Canada, it's been, pre-pandemic anyway, it was a missed opportunity. And that comes from sort of data we've tracked from Order Dynamics Research Canada that showed that only 31% of Canadian retailers had a BOPIS solution. Again, this is pre-pandemic. And that lagged behind the other countries that we're compared to, like a UK, Germany, or Australia, which were running at about 38% at the time. However, the tendencies of consumers or behaviors demonstrated that they, would like faster fulfillment, less expensive fulfillment, and easier fulfillment, which sort of plays into the BOPIS angle of fulfillment.
So that's what I want to touch up on a little bit more is, I'm a retailer today. Let's say I have BOPIS because I think, with all the pandemic closures, if you don't have a buy online and pick up in store strategy, you're really hampering yourself. But I have my stores already. I can ship my order to the store, and one of my wonderful courteous associates can deliver the order to you once you come pick it up. Why do I need a locker, either in front of my store or inside of my store? Why a locker in particular for BOPIS?
Well, it touches on the first new desires that we see that was caused by the pandemic, which is contactless. But it also enables a 24-hour fulfillment without staff. So, if you've got a staffed fulfillment for BOPIS, then you not only need to have staff, now you have operating hours, and now you're paying that labor, and you're not, so it becomes more of a cost center than a fulfillment center. So a locker gets rid of all that and then manages all of that contact touch points with the consumer from the minute you put that order into the locker. So we're going to remind them, we're going to generate the code, we're going to be contactless, and presuming you've put it in the location that's accessible 24/7, we're going to dispense 24/7, and then we'll report that back to the retailer in the morning that it's been cleared. So it's really an automated solution, right? So it extends your hours without the staff.
Interesting. I love that. So I guess I can place my order as a customer at any time. And if I got, held back by my kids, my family, my work, or whatever it is, I can go to the store regardless of their hours, as long as the location is accessible. And now I can pick up my order without incurring, shipping fees and all these other things that I probably don't want. Super cool. Right. Now, you mentioned pandemic a few times. You mentioned touchless. Is it safe to assume that, through the pandemic, the demand for your type of solutions have gone literally through the roof? And, just any comments in general, how did the pandemic impact, your business?
Yeah, demand for lockers obviously went up significantly, from primarily in the multi-family dealing with e-commerce shipments, which are coming in, so StatsCan has them up 110%, I think it is, year over year, May 2019 to May 2020. So obviously e-commerce is up, therefore parcel volumes are up, therefore requirements to manage them are up. But also this plays into retail. So because contactless and because of curbside pickup, also the retail is also picking up in terms of implementing lockers in various applications. For 24-hour pickup, for contactless pickup, for curbside pickup, all depending on how they want to run it, and depending on what they're selling. Like a clothing retailer is going to be different than a HVAC or plumbing pipe supplier, which we also do. So they want them running on weekends for their service techs. So it depends on what vertical they're playing in, but certainly in retail, there's a lot more movement in Canada, which was lagging before in retail.
Now, that is fantastic. And I guess my question I would have was something as big and complex as a locker with automation, automated retail in general. There's a perceived complexity to the whole solution. Can you touch a little bit on system architecture? If I'm a retailer today, and I think this may be something that could positively augment the way I provide, my products to a customer. How complex it is to get into the locker, the locker game, and be able to offer that, and also how extensible is it, from a pilot implementation to, let's say, maybe even a full integration down the road?
Yeah, I think there's two ways to do it. You can do a full integration, which is via API. So we're an open API, so we can integrate as long as the recipient retailer is also open. We can do exchange of API calls for, order numbers, cell phone numbers, and that, what have you. So that's sort of like the future of doing it. But I think as an entry level, sort of let's test this out under a pilot condition, a sort of a drop our locker in as a non-integrated solution is quicker. And basically what that means is that there's just no integration between the POS and the order and Snaily at the time of the pilot. So you have to decide how you're going to deposit. The easiest way to do it is to deposit to us via the consumer's cell phone number. So we just come to the locker with your packing slip and your shoes or what have you, and you deposit it to the consumer's cell phone number in our locker, and then we take over. So then we'll send out the QR code for a contactless pickup to their cell phone. We will remind them to come and get it, and we will generate that one-time use code, which is going to be in a QR format or a 8-digit code, depending on what you want to set it up like. So that's sort of what we see as first step for pilot is a non-integrated solution. And it also fits really nicely within Canadian data privacy laws, because under PIPEDA, a cell phone number is not considered personal identifiable information. So we don't have a lot of hoops to go through on the IT side, nor on the CISO side with the Chief Information Security Officer side, and we could just drop them and run. And so that's the easiest to start it. And then you can go from there to get into APIs into your POS systems for where now you're depositing to an order, or maybe it's even better than that. You're scanning a barcode and we know what that is, and we can, right from there, the retailer can just simply deposit after a scan, and we get all the information in the background. So, there's ways to do it.
That sounds fantastic. It looks like there's definitely a trajectory from trying it out to see if it fits your business model as a retailer to a long-term vision. Sounds very, very interesting. Now, finally, this is the question I'm posing to all guests. Can you give me one prediction for retail in 2021 and beyond? It could be general or relate to your particular vertical, completely up to you. What do you see as a future in retail in the next 12 to 18 months?
I don't think people are going to be quick to give up the convenience of curbside pickup or BOPIS. I think that that's driven by millennials. I think that that's driven and solidified by the pandemic. And I think that when people see that they can skip lines with their groceries or skip lines with their, like when I buy my dress shirt, it's always the same dress shirt. So I don't need to go wait in line. I can just buy it. I think that solution and those BOPIS curbside pickup with automation is going to be, here for good.
Got it. So BOPIS is here to stay. Automation is good. And Patrick, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us today. Personally, I think that autonomous or automated retail is definitely a trend that's seeing nothing but growth. A real lot of excitement happening in this place. if you're interested in kind of this type of solution, you know, Patrick and Snaily obviously would love to hear from you. And I want to thank you for watching this episode, and we'll see you on the next episode of Retail Talk. Thank you. And until next time, take care.